Right, so the first thing I'm going to go through is teaching the dog to leave it. And we're going to use some tasty treats and we're going to use some boring old kibble. And the idea of the training is, if you leave the boring old kibble, you'll get the nice tasty treats as a reward. Bunty, you're going to be on in a minute, come on. Thank you. So leave the boring stuff and you'll get rewarded. It pays off to leave what it is, what I'm going to put on the floor. And we're going to reward her. We're going to mark her for leaving the food on the floor and reward her with something tastier. So we want to build up an association with, if she sees something on the floor that she wants, she needs to look up at me, almost asking for permission, if she can touch it or not. And we will add in a leave it cue as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some boring old kibble under my foot and cover it with my foot. And she's going to sniff it and she might paw it. And it might take her some time to get her to look and go, what do I do to get this kibble and look up at me? As soon as I get that eye contact, I'm going to mark it with a yes, an enthusiastic yes. And then I'm going to reward her from my hand. Okay? And I'm going to repeat that. And what you'll see is the pawing and sniffing of my foot will start to become shorter and shorter when she realises that the idea is if I leave it, I get the food. And with Bunty, she'll probably do this in 3 to 5 repetitions, I would think. When she starts to understand going for it doesn't get her anything, then I'll start upping the ante a bit and I'll start moving my foot up and starting to reveal the kibble underfoot, making it a bit more tempting, and see if she remembers that if she doesn't come forward for it, she will get some food. So we're going to have a go with that. Yes. So I'm going to adjust my set a little bit so you can see my lovely feet as well as the lovely Bunty. And I'm going to get my bits and pieces together. So, just for demo purposes, she's got boring old kibble. That's going to go under my foot. And in my little treat pouch, as she's already gathered, I've got a mix of chicken, yes, and cheese, and there's some biscuits in there as well. Now, if you've got younger puppies, I would suggest you use chicken. If you've got older dogs, a little bit of cheese, maybe some cocktail sausages, ham, things like that. But just be aware of using a portion of their daily food allowance for training. Right. So, can you see that? Yes, good. See my lovely white trainers? So sniff, 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 paw, 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 yes. And when she looks up and she sits, she gets a yes and a treat. Okay? So I'm going to lift my foot, put it down. Yes, good girl. Oh, she's good at this. You didn't do that with a stone this morning, did you? Good girl. Ah. Good girl. Just going to lift my foot. Ah. Yes, good girl. Just pick this up very quickly. Yes, good girl. We all seen that okay? Thumbs up if you can see it. Yay, thank you. Ah, yes, good girl. Now there's a little bit of controversy with using an app. I use it because I think it's a good marker to say not quite right. What I don't use is no, because the dog doesn't understand what no means. If I just continue to say no, no, no to you, you'd be like, you know what, I need some more information. Yes, good girl. So I'm just going to leave my foot up a little bit longer and see how she goes. Yeah, good girl. Well done. Yes, good girl. Nice enthusiastic. You can see her tail wagging as well. She's enjoying this. Oh, getting the idea. If your dog is very obsessive with the pawing at your foot or sniffing and doesn't quite back off as quickly as Bunty has been doing here, you might want to try, instead of having food, just having some novel object, something different underfoot that you've put on the floor to start off with, just make it a little bit less tempting. Bunty's been quite good and she's actually taken herself away. Yes, good girl. She's taken herself away because she's learning. What she's doing now, she's just seeing she's missed any bits. A lot of dogs do this, usually when they're kind of thinking about what they're doing as well. So wait till she gets back engaged with me. There we go. So I'm moving my foot away completely now. Yes, good girl. Well done. Okay, take it. Take it. Good girl. Everybody okay with that so far? Yeah? Good. Now, once you've done that, and you're getting to a point where you can lift your foot up, you can then start to add a cue word in when she's actually doing the behaviour. So we call it labelling the behaviour. And we do it to make sure that she's understanding that when she's doing a particular behaviour, she's hearing this word. So she makes an association with the word, with the action that she's doing. Okay. So I'll repeat the exercise. Let me just straighten that out a wee bit. Get some more boring old kibble. So I'm going to do exactly the same thing. Because she's just moved, and I've moved, and things have changed a little bit, and this is relatively new to her, I'm going to go back a stage. My cough, by the way, is not COVID. It's just because I talk a lot. So, I'm going to go back a stage with her, just to see how she's doing. Sneaky, just sneak one then, didn't you? I'm going to lift. Yes, good girl. Just to test to see how she is. She's remembering what I'm asking her to do. Now, the next thing I'm going to do, when I lift my foot, I'm also going to couple it with a leave it. When she looks at the food. Leave it. Yes, good girl. Nice and firm, doesn't need to be loud. We're not drill sergeants, we're not saying, leave it. Come on. Good girl. Well done. Leave it. Yes, good girl. I'm also still marking with a yes when she looks up at me. You're not even looking at the food now, are you? Such a good girl. So I'm going to up the ante a wee bit. Move it around. Get her interested. There, you see. Leave it. Good girl. Well done. Leave it. Yes, good girl. Now there, she kind of went to it after I'd said leave it, but then she did back off. So I'm still going to reward her for that, because she's still learning. It's all about upping the criteria. Leave it. Good girl. Yeah, she's a good girl. I love a plan when it comes together. Right. I will stop the recording if anybody wants to have a practice of that. If you want to switch your video back on,